We are going to begin our series on NPR or non-photorealistic slash watercolor tutorial here in SketchUp, and we are going to begin with a completed SketchUp model. There's plenty of tutorials on how to build a model, etc., etc. So we're going to kind of jump in with a completed model. So the first thing we really want to do once we have our model set up, nice landscaping and the house complete, so on and so forth, is to set up our scene so that we always have a constant scene to work with. So we're going to choose maybe something a little more dynamic instead of doing an overall shot like this. Maybe we'll do a shot where we're standing at the front door, have a nice view, and I already have a scene set up. Actually, I already have a scene set up here showing the front door. We're seeing some of the detailing of the brackets and so forth, and the tower over here. So it seems to be a nice shot and seems to work well. But one of the things I want to do is also make sure that we turn on our 2-point perspective, and I already have that scene set up here. So you can see that all of the verticals are straight up and down, versus this, where this is actually technically a 3-point perspective. You can see all of our lines are going off to the horizon, to the left and to the right, as well as vertically they're all converging upwards, whereas turning on 2-point perspective will make all the verticals vertical. And I have my saved scene here showing that. Now it's going to be really important to keep our save scene, so because we're going to export out several files, and we want to make sure that they all line up perfectly. The next important thing that really sets the mood is setting our shadow, day and time, and we're going to set our scene to that again so that we can really make sure that we're keeping the same shadow lines on various exports. And the easiest way to do that for me is I'm going to turn all my landscaping off, just so that we're not being impacted from a resource perspective of trying to shadow the landscaping onto the building, and then we'll eventually turn it back on. I'm going to use my working tab, which turns off all of my landscaping, and we'll turn on shadows, and we'll get our first look of how the shadows are sitting. And it's not too bad. We can always play, if we want a lower winter sun or a higher summer sun, as well as morning sun coming in, or higher noon sun, getting darker. Let's go with something a little bit of more of a morning sun, light coming in at a lower angle. Let's see if we find something we like. Maybe go slightly higher summer sun. Alright, I think that's looking good. And I'm going to update my scene. Now, that just updated with my landscaping off, and that's okay. Because really I want to turn my sun or my shadows off, and hit my scene button to turn my landscaping back on, and then we can update the scene once more. And now our scene is updated with landscaping on. Our shadow, day and time is set even though it's off. But just so we can get a quick look, I'm going to turn it back on. And you'll see it take a second, and it's actually looking pretty good. Now that we have our landscaping on, maybe we'll play with it just a touch more and see if we can make the tree shadows a little more dynamic. As you can see, it definitely takes a little bit more resource power to adjust shadows with landscaping on. Maybe we'll do something like that. I kind of like this tree going across the front door. And so yeah, so maybe we'll save something like that. I'm going to turn these off, update my scene, and that's it. We're good to go. So that is setting up the scenes and setting up the shadows. Next we're going to look at exporting out all the various images that we want to.